Hello there. It's good to have you join us on NAPTIP On The Move. I'm Angela Adbegi. Today we bring you sights and sounds of the 25th National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Human Trafficking and presentation of National Action Plan on Human Trafficking and other policy documents, organized by NAPTIP with support from the International Organization for Migration, IOM. Take a look.
The National Stakeholders Consultative Forum was instituted by NAPTIP in 2004 to strengthen collaboration, cooperation, exchange ideas, and share information with all relevant stakeholders on issues of human trafficking. Recently, NAPTIP, with support from the International Organization for Migration, organized the 25th National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Human Trafficking and presentation of National Action Plan on Human Trafficking and 2 other policy documents. In attendance were representatives of honorable ministers, ambassadors, international development partners, directors general, ECOWAS Commission, security agencies, civil society organizations, state attorneys general, state commissioners of women affairs, board members of NAPTIP, pioneer and former executive secretary of NAPTIP, director general NAPTIP, directors, zonal commanders, state commanders and officers of NAPTIP. The event commenced with the arrival of the representative of His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, Mr. Ade Ikbaye, Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Office of the Vice President. Welcoming all present, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, the DG of NAPTIP, highlighted some of the recent efforts of the agency in combating trafficking in persons.
It is with utmost delight that I, on behalf of the management and officers of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, welcome you to the 25th edition of the National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Trafficking in Persons and the public presentation of the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking 2022 to 2026, the Protocol for Identification, Safe Return and Rehabilitation of Trafficked Persons 2022, and the National Policy for Protection and Assistance of Trafficked Persons in Nigeria. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. And let me also thank the International Organization for Migration and the government of Switzerland and UNODC for supporting today's forum. Let me quickly share some of the agency's achievements. Since the establishment of NAPTIP in 2003, it has recorded 509 convictions, 13 convictions and counting for the year 2022. And we currently have 261 ongoing cases in various courts across the country. We also have 11 ongoing mutual legal assistance cases, and out of the 11 cases, 2 cases are currently being prosecuted in court, one in Lagos and the other in Benin. Till date, the agency has been able to rescue 17,000 636 victims of human trafficking, 394 and counting for the year 2022. In February 2022, with the support of FIAP, we repatriated 15 women from Mali who have been trapped in forced prostitution for years. There are over 20,000 Nigerian women and girls in Mali trapped in forced prostitution, forced labor, and all forms of slavery who want to come back home, as in many other African, Arab, Asian, and European countries.
She then reiterated the agency's commitment in the fight against human trafficking.
In 2019, the Trafficking in Persons Control of Activities of Organizations and Centers regulation was issued by the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation. The regulation empowers NAPTIP to regulate, control, and issue clearance certificates to all travel agents, tour operators, and intending travelers for educational, excursion, recruitment of labor, sporting activities, cultural and music excursion or competitions, and all organizations, shelters, and homes offering services for the purpose of the rehabilitation of trafficked persons. NAPTIP has developed a portal for use by these categories of persons and businesses. The portal is automated and in compliance with the Federal Government Executive Order 1 on ease of doing business. The process is digitized from registration to payment and issuance of clearance certificates with various levels of verification. The portal is currently operational and accessible to the public via the NAPTIP official website. Now, due to the increase in state and interstate trafficking, buying and selling of children, and cryptic pregnancies, NAPTIP has concluded partnership with Facebook and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the United States to set up Amber Alerts Nigeria, where Facebook sends alerts to targeted Facebook community to help find missing children in Nigeria on time, real time. This initiative, which is second in Africa by Facebook, we deliver Amber Alerts on people's news feeds in targeted search areas after a child has been abducted, and NAPTIP has issued an alert on such an abduction. These alerts will include photographs and other details about the missing child. Will be sent to people who use Facebook within approximately 160 kilometers radius of the search area where the child was last seen. Furthermore, people will be able to share the alerts with friends and link directly to NAPTIP Child Poster, which will always have the most up-to-date information about the case. Amber Alert Nigeria will be formally launched in June here in Abuja. I must emphasize that the government of Nigeria, through NAPTIP, has been able to achieve all this and more due to the concerted efforts, collaboration, partnership, and support from our sister agencies, the military, civil society organizations, donor organizations, international community, good-hearted individuals, and the media. Please be reminded that this forum is an opportunity for extensive discussions and adoption of comprehensive measures to further deepen the involvement of states and non-state actors in our collective efforts in the fight against human trafficking and smuggling of migrants.
Some of the international development partners expressed happiness with development of the policy document and the consultative forum.
It is my distinct pleasure and privilege to be able to join you on the occasion of the launch of 3 key policy documents, including the 3rd National Action Plan on combating human trafficking in Nigeria. The launch comes at the end of 2 years of intense research, gap analysis and strategic planning, featuring the consultation with a wide group of stakeholders, including various relevant federal MDAs, state governments and state task forces established to prevent and combat trafficking in persons, as well as civil society, academia and international development partners. At UNODC, we pride ourselves for having supported the process from the very beginning. We will continue to expand our efforts to help NAPTIP and the Nigerian Immigration Service, as well as academia, to produce timely data analysis on trafficking in persons and the smuggling of migrants. Thank you very much.
We are very glad to be here because, as you all know, human trafficking does not stop at political borders. Rather, it is a complex and highly profitable form of organized crime that can only be stopped by joining forces both domestically and internationally. This is why we applaud NAPTIP for gathering relevant stakeholders today to strengthen cooperation and coordination in our joint battle against trafficking in persons. We believe that Nigeria's new National Action Plan on Human Trafficking, which will be presented today, provides a very good basis for this, and we are proud to have been able to support its development. We would like to commend the unwavering commitment of the leadership of NAPTIP, the invaluable support and guidance of UNODC, and the highly important contributions from all other stakeholders at state, federal and local level that helped bring the new National Action Plan to life. And we stand ready to support Nigeria in the implementation of the new National Action Plan in whatever way we can.
It is a pleasure for us as IOM to be here today and to partner with the NAPTIP to launch these policy documents that are indeed significant to the work that all of us here present are doing in the fight against trafficking. Without a doubt, trafficking in persons is a menace to communities and societies at large. It requires the adoption of collaborative strategies between countries and agencies in the area of information sharing, prevention, protection, investigation and prosecution to combat it. In recognition of the strategic role of these partnerships, NAPTIP duly established the National Stakeholders Consultative Forum as a platform for stock-taking among stakeholders, to which IOM applauds this effort. IOM is a strategic partner to NAPTIP. We continue to provide strategic support through our voluntary return and reintegration projects. I want to congratulate and commend the Federal Government of Nigeria through NAPTIP for the good work and leadership and collaborative effort in reducing the scourge of trafficking in persons. And I would like to reiterate the commitment of IOM to continue to provide strategic support to NAPTIP and relevant stakeholders in the fight against trafficking in persons and all other issues of common interest.
During these almost 4 years of implementation of the project, we have been working side by side with NAPTIP in many activities in these 5 P's, which are the pillar of the agency's work and are equally guiding our daily work in the project that I represent, with the goal of fighting against trafficking in persons. Also for us today is a day of celebration as the National Policy on Protection and Assistance of Victims of TIP, as well the protocol for the identification, safe return and reintegration of victims of trafficking, which the agency is presenting today, have been supported by our project with the holding of numerous activities, seminars, workshops and technical meetings.
I wish to commend NAPTIP on the organisation of this forum, which pulls together so many important actors in our joint fight against trafficking. I congratulate the efforts of our friends and colleagues at the Swiss Embassy and UNODC in producing the 3 important documents that have been launched today. All of these will underpin each of our efforts over the coming years, and I'm sure will lead to greater impact, transparency and accountability. I encourage the federal government to continue to ensure that NAPTIP is given all and any resources and more that it requires to ensure that it can operate effectively and sustainably in the future. Finally, I reaffirm my government's continuing support to the Government of Nigeria in building capacity in its responsible agencies, deepening its engagement with its citizens, communities and regional neighbours, and protecting the victims of trafficking.
It was a day for speeches as more dignitaries commended NAPTIP for their efforts so far.
On behalf of the Governing Council and management staff of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, we would like to express our profound gratitude to the DG NAPTIP and our management staff for inviting us to this year's Stakeholders Consultative Forum. As the Apex Legal Research and Training Institute in Nigeria, we've always been actively involved in the activities of NAPTIP since inception. I'm glad to sustain my relationship with NAPTIP.
As we all know, fighting human trafficking is indeed a challenge of extraordinary proportions. Our approach therefore needs to balance progressive and proactive law enforcement with activities that can combat market forces driven human trafficking in many destination countries. With very few victims being detected when it most matters, we must work assiduously and very closely too with the law enforcement agency to increase the risk of arrest, trial and imprisonment for traffickers. In contesting the market forces, we must also raise awareness of this issue at the national and international level, but especially in community. I call on all both private and public sector to support this fight.
The pioneer executive secretary of NAPTIP, Carol Ndagba, was happy with the developments.
Here I am today, feeling very happy that at least I can see some of my old friends, even though all the faces have changed. The documents that are going to be launched today were started when I was there. And congratulations, Dr. Azi, that they have been finally approved by the Executive Council. It's not an easy matter. I congratulate the whole of NAPTIP. You are all fantastic workers. Very, very, very dedicated, very loyal, and I hope you are giving the same to Dr. Azi. But Dr. Azi, I've heard many good things about you. So I know that you are going to lift NAPTIP to the topmost. You made it #1 agency in Nigeria. Thank you so much for your hard work.
The Honorable Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development was represented by Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, Special Advisor on Humanitarian Affairs.
It is my utmost pleasure to welcome you to this 25th edition of the National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Human Trafficking, which aims at bringing together all the relevant stakeholders in the counter-trafficking field in Nigeria. The event, as you all know, offers a unique platform for interactions among stakeholders, stimulating discourses and the harvesting of feedbacks on how far Nigeria has gone in combating human trafficking between the last National Stakeholder Consultative Forum and now. What we have done well and which areas we need to improve in terms of policy development and implementation, prevention efforts, victim protection, prosecution of human trafficking offenders, and partnership engagements. From inception, my ministry has made significant efforts to ensure that human trafficking features prominently in our daily national discourses. At the policy level, within the last 2 years, the efforts of stakeholders on countering human trafficking intensified and yielded the development, review, finalization, and validation of 3 important national policy documents, which we are going to publicly present in this meeting. I especially appreciate the contributions of my colleagues, honorable ministers, and entire members of the Federal Executive Council, chaired by His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Mr. Vice President, for approving these documents, and all our international partners towards the fight against human trafficking. The contribution of the various development partners, ministries, departments, and agencies as are assembled in this hall, as well as the civil society organization in the various stages of the development of these policies is also very well appreciated.
Then it was time for special remarks from His Excellency, the Vice President, represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Ikpae.
I'm delighted to be here at this 25th National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Human Trafficking, aimed at deepening collaboration, strengthening cooperation, and providing a platform for information sharing and peer review on good practices in the fight against human trafficking, provision of protection services, and enhanced access to justice for all. Organized by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, with the support of International Organization for Migration. This event is also witnessing the presentation of 3 very important policy documents. Permit me at this point to sincerely appreciate our development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, and indeed all stakeholders who have for so long supported and cooperated with the Nigerian government in tackling the scourge of trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants. It is only by working together like this that we can collectively develop solutions capable of addressing root causes and risk factors, prosecute offenders, protect the vulnerable, and better support the victims. Let me assure you then that this government has sustained commitment to further strengthen this already established relationship for a more holistic and effective response.
He highlighted some of the interventions of the federal government and then commended NAPTIP.
The Buhari-led government recognizes the fact that to prevent human trafficking, we need to address poverty, underdevelopment, and a lack of equal opportunity, which means we have to invest more in people, especially the young and the disadvantaged. It is for these reasons that since 2015, this administration has consistently developed policies, programs, and initiatives targeted at addressing poverty, providing equal opportunities for women, supporting entrepreneurs and micro, small, and medium businesses, creating jobs for young people, and challenging those fundamental inequalities that leave women and children vulnerable to human trafficking. We remain committed to scaling up the social investment programs that will provide livelihood support to our teeming young men and women as a deliberate strategy to prevent them from falling prey to the antics of traffickers. Finally, let me use this opportunity to congratulate the Director General NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri-Azi, and all the enthusiastic and hardworking staff of the agency for their achievements under the overall leadership of the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Mrs. Sadiya Farouk Umar. The entire officers of NAPTIP, ably led by the Director General, has demonstrated uncommon commitment towards ensuring a nation free from human trafficking and violence against persons. And I am delighted by the record of attainment under its current leadership. Thank you.
The climax of the event was the formal presentation of the 3 policy documents: the National Action Plan 2022 to 2026, National Policy on Protection and Assistance to Trafficked Persons in Nigeria 2022, and the Protocol for Identification, Safe Return and Rehabilitation of Trafficked Victims. Done with the presentation and photo sessions, the technical session began in earnest with reading and adoption of the previous minutes from the 24th Stakeholders Consultative Forum. Comments, observations, questions and suggestions raised were duly addressed by the Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi. Presentation on counter-trafficking report was made by Olubiyi Olushayo, NAPTIP's Director, Research and Program Development Department. Updates and reports from states' anti-trafficking task forces were presented by Honorable Commissioners of Women Affairs from Gombe, Nasarawa and Jigawa. This was followed by a presentation on projected activities for 2022 by Olatunji Rashid from NAPTIP. The National Stakeholders Consultative Forum ended with a presentation and adoption of the communique, while the Director, Training and Manpower Department of NAPTIP, Arinze Orakwe, thanked everyone for their support, participation and meaningful contributions. The formal presentation of the 3 policy documents and the National Stakeholders Consultative Forum was an opportunity to strengthen collaboration and build new partnerships that will make a huge impact in the fight against human trafficking. NAPTIP On The Move is sponsored by the International Organization for Migration, IOM. For more inquiries and support or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627 or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria or watch our videos on YouTube.
A colorful event, wasn't it? Our time is fast spent. Keep a date with us next week. Thank you for watching. My name is Angela at Bye for now.